Hello, my name is Steve Kern. I'm the creator of the flower-chart project Spacecraft Design Concept. I'm going to continue on with my multi-motor rocket engine spacecraft design. The last video, my tablet ran out of memory on me, and so I ended the video. When I made a thumbnail photo, everything was there, but we're going to look at see if everything's there now, because sometimes after one or two saves, exits of the application, what was saved in the previous gets eliminated. So everything's there according to graphics, and everything's there on the list. Names did not get reverted back to default, so everything's good. So when the last video ended, I was talking about the Crawlspace corridor, or the Crawlspace tunnel corridor. There is no established terminology for my stuff. Let's move it. So this is 30 feet in diameter, so I'll just move it down 15. That's 185. Oops, wrong one. We don't want the core, and we want the Crawlspace interior. We move that to 185. No, so that's 28, 24, 25, 26, and you add 27 for that one, and then another habitation module exterior. Let's hide that. Okay. So, okay, so that's 27 for this gap there, and then 28, and then another 8 for the interior for this. So we're adding 27 plus 8 is 35. Okay, and so the Crawlspace interior volume is, oh, they kept it. So let's change that to 35. Oops, wrong 5. Right 5. Like that. We want to, that looks like 6. Okay, let's move it 6 places. Where's this? So that's negative 20. Okay, that's 5 or 4. Okay, so we're going to move it. We're going to move up 4. So that's 189. And the Crawlspace interior, nope, we want the habitation module. I'm going to show that. Oof. I don't know why that shifted. $185. $186. $187. Okay, so that is good. We're off by a couple feet. Oh, wait a minute. That needs to, okay, we moved, okay, let's see that. Move it. It's supposed to be -19. Let's move it up to the other side. Okay, so 200 plus, okay, 13. $13. I said 213. Oops. Yeah, where the, there we go. Yeah. Okay, it's off by a foot. That's off by a foot. Okay, Crawlspace interior, skillet. We're going to add, okay, let's see if this 36 would fix that. If not, we try 37. That's flush. And that's flush. Okay. And that is the interior. So we move that back down to the other side. Yeah. 187. Says the volume stuck, the value stuck, I mean. We're going to copy that. And we're going to rename it. Oh, that's the name. Crawlspace exterior. The exterior represents the frame structure of the crawlspace. I'm not using the term frame because the frame structure would require solid materials and actual framing of the thing, frame details. So now scale that. Add 2 feet. Frame structure is 1 foot thick, so you're doubling that. Adding, so we're going to add it. That's going to change to 6, and that's going to change to 6. There are a couple of ways of thinking about how the crawlspace works. One method crawlspace tunnel works is it's inside the entire structure, so I have to move this up a foot. Move it. 188. Okay, that's correct. So now we move the crawlspace interior one to 188. That is one position. To have an interior totally inside the modules. Another idea, concept, would be to have it crawlspace exterior. We'll go down 5. That'd be 183. So when the tablet battery died out, it's a fortunate thing, actually. I would consider it a fortunate thing, because what I was going to do is this: if the tablet has not died out, I'd be doing this. So, in which case you need a space in here for on the privacy deck. Now because there's 3 astronauts on the spacecraft instead of half a dozen or a dozen or more. Having a 4x4 wide corridor would be okay. But on a spacecraft with a higher capacity, where astronauts and passengers or passengers, depending on the spacecraft design. The Flower Child project does deal with civilian tourism. There's, so the concept of civilian tourists being on a spaceship, as well as professional astronauts who are operating the spacecraft, and or professional astronauts who are operating civilian tourism spacecraft designs. Let's just do that. I'm going to do that again. Oh, don't work again. Okay, whatever. And then you have research and development, research and exploration spacecraft designs that are operated by professional astronauts who engage in outer space research and exploration activities. So you have 2 different classes of professional astronauts within the 2 types of professional astronauts within the Flower Child project program. For example, it is possible that the within NASA, some professional astronauts that do NASA exploration activities would also rotate out of the research and exploration activities into space tourism, spacecraft operations. They operate the spacecraft that carries outer space tourism tourists, civilian tourists, to various outer space destinations, which would be maybe this an Earth orbital tourism venture. Maybe the tourists dock onto the space station, a spaceport space station, as a tourist destination, and stay there for a week or a month, whatever, and then go back on Earth, and or they go from the spaceport space station and then transfer to a lunar translunar space flight. Maybe it's an orbital tourism. Maybe it's a lunar surface tourism. There'd be options for that. That's the Flower Child project. That's how I envision outer space tourism work within the Flower Child project. And so there is a lot going on. And so a single spacecraft design is not going to work for all of that. You're going to have multiple spacecraft designs. And then again, the Flower Child series is modeled off the Apollo CSMLM, which was a 7-day mission, 8-day, 1 week, 7-8 days, and then a week, 7 days mission, round trip, and then for you want to have a 1 month Earth lunar orbital mission before going back to Earth. minus the transit, lunar Earth transit back and forth, which is like 3 or 4 days. You know, that requires a totally different spacecraft design than the one that does Earth lunar 7-day round trip mission spacecraft design. So, and then you have a 2-year spacecraft design. That's a whole different design. So, the Flower Child does envision a wide variety of different spacecraft designs with a wide variety of different mission roles for spacecraft designs. So each mission role would have a different design. A 7-day round trip lunar outer space tourism spacecraft design would have a different layout than what a 7-day Earth lunar orbital 7-day research exploration spacecraft design would have. And a 7-day Earth lunar surface mission, exploration mission, would be different from the 7-day Earth lunar surface outer space tourism activity spacecraft design. So, and that's different from their 7-day lunar orbital spacecraft designs. So there's a lot going on there. So you can do that. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with the privacy deck area. Like that. Let's hide the corridor. Okay. Let's hide that. So, you want to raise that up a bit. Not the exterior, we want the interior to be raised. $184. Okay, that looks good. Wait a minute. Command module exterior, let's hide that. Yeah. Okay. So now the interior hall and interior structures there. So then we add the Crawlspace exterior. Show that. That's good. Move it to 184. Habitation models for exteriors, show that. Okay, habitation models exterior material to default. Actually, let's make a new one. Can we fix the color coding on that? Nope. That's as close as it's going to get. And then let's get on that. Crawlspace exterior material. Let's add that. That's as good as it's going to get. Show that. Material. Let's do that. Okay, so no, there's supposed to be a cockpit window structure here, but okay, I need to save it. Or let's get all of this. Okay. That's good. Everything's good. So that's the habitation section of the spacecraft design. Hide that. Privacy deck. Just solidify that. Let's hide the crawlspace structures. One, two, okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So we can so we have X, Y, Z, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 1/4 is crew member, crew member, crew member, bathing. Don't have an even number at the 45-degree angle. So, you have a center corridor. You can say yeah, door, 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 door. At the crawlspace corridor, Rise up and down. So okay, we're going to scale that. If we double that, okay, then let's see here. Let's get all that so we don't mess things up. And let's save that just to be on the safe side. I'm not being anal right now. I'm not in a bad mood like I was in the last video. And just, you know, this is a good thing to do. Okay, so now you have an astronaut, one or two. You got an astronaut that wants to go this way. You got an astronaut that wants to go that way. You have one can take up the upper 4-foot area. The other one can take the lower 4-foot area. And if you have a guy want to come in and go out, the one that's trying to get in can be out here, and then the guy that's trying to get out would take the inside upper and then rotate. Or depending on how the corridors are working, you may have want to have an 8-foot section here, foyer, 8-foot foyer, 8-foot diameter foyer, so that they can bypass each other. Then the door would be a bottleneck. One person can go in and out at a time on the bottleneck. Although if we change we can change it through this format. You can have one can go in, then well, you're still that would be a double door. One can go in, one can go out, and then we can do that. Now, if these vines did not stick, I'd have to destroy that, or I would have to create multiple crawlspace interiors to explore the various different formats. Because if I stick, I can change it. It's okay, I want it this way or that way, and then without having to create a new one and then hide and unhide, hide and show each format. Yeah, so makes things a lot easier. Now what I could do is rotate this thing privacy deck. For 5 degrees. Now, the flat edge is on top and on bottom. And then we got 45, then we got 45 degrees this way and 45 degrees that way. It's from this point to 1, 2, 3, that point. From here to there, from here to there, something like that. Let's see here. Okay, new model. Okay. Scale it. There we go. We're going to go 30. Nope, 31. And that'll be good enough. That represent the one would be framing. So wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Get rid of that. We'll go up to 200. Okay. Okay. I don't know what to name it yet, so it's let's color code that. And this is going to be frame structure. I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm not looking at the color. Okay. All right. Copy that. Landing. 45, that's 135. Rotate that. 45. So now, crew, corridor. Bathroom, if we want to have a bathroom here. Crawlspace interior. Scale that. Let's reverse the process a little bit. 8, 4. Now that. Let's save. Just to be on the safe side. Oops, I said save. I have to be on the safe side. Come on, get in there. Let's see here. That's good. That's good. Okay. That's 8 foot. So we're going to do another model. Cylinder. Color code that. Down here. That's good enough. That's the same thing as the other color by chance. Okay, and then we got that. Center that. Okay. That's okay. Scale it. 8 feet height, because that's the deck height. And then start at 4, since I think we can have sticky values now. rotate that 90, and then we move that up to 200. As a 200. Oops. So where you're at. That's good. The privacy deck, -5. Cylinder, move it to -5. Not -50. Cylinder, scale that. Let's make it 10. So only one astronaut can go in and out at the corridor at 4 feet diameter. If we change that to 8 feet diameter, so you can have 2 astronauts side by side. You can have actually 4 astronauts hanging in there. One here, one there, one there, one there. Well, it'll be a tight fit. Now, if they're in the VA suits, you want to get 2 in there. But without AVA suits at 8 feet, you can fit, in a shirt sleeve environment. 4 astronauts can be in that area. So walk in, walk out, walk in, walk out. Shower area, toilet area. Or toilet area, shower area, depending, whatever. Let's see here. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Subtract 4 is 11. Okay, let's make another. Model. Cube. Okay. Let's see here how we're going to do this. Get all that. Scale that. That's going to be 11. X is going to be 10. Z is going to be 4. Z is going to be 8. Move it. -5. 200. So that, okay. Okay. So 11, 5.5, eight. 5.5 is on here. And then that's 4. 9.5 minus 200. Okay, 190. $191, $192, $193.5. Okay. Okay, move it 193.75. Scale it 12. And then privacy deck, material, cube, scale that. Point 5. Move it. 194. Scale that. 12. Okay, there it is. Okay, that's correct. Okay. Okay, move it. $192. Let's see what had that. Move to 193. Scale that. 13. Scale that to 13.5. Yeah, this makes things, having value stick makes things so much easier. This makes things so much easier. So now the corridor. Move it down 2 feet. 182. Since that's okay, that is the interior framework would come out there. So yeah, okay. cylinder, that is that thing. We're changing the cutter on that. Okay. To represent open spaces. And this is framework. This is open space. So we're going to change that to cube. Change material. Color. Okay. Okay. Now the reason these are coded to light blue or sky blue is because there is nothing supposed to be in here. On the decks, you have equipment and stuff in there. You got beds, maybe storage units and stuff, table area or whatever. You got some stuff. You got materials that are going to be inside the corridors, the quarters, and you have so there's stuff inside. It's not purely empty space. You got equipment in there, machinery or whatever in there. That takes up volume, the interior volume of the corridors and the stuff. And so they're not being changed. Undo that. So and that's common deck, and that's the mission deck. That applies to the common deck and also the mission deck. You got stuff in here that's going to be occupying that space, and these spaces are empty spaces here. Now that's the exterior. the mission deck and the common deck are not going to be divided into separate areas like this, like the privacy deck. And so now there will be organized, they could be organized. You may have a section like, let's get rid of everybody here. But okay, let's just use this. There may be a section for bioscience research. There may be a section for equipment storage. There may be a section for medical research. Or medical care research, astronauts health research. Bioscience would be plants, animals, whatever. You may have an astronomical research section, and then so it can, depending on the mission profile of the spacecraft, you can have different stuff in there. And then on the common, oops. Great. And 1 hour and 14 minutes. So, those one, those two, okay. So, for example, let's continue. So on the common area deck, you have a food area. You would have a maybe a food preparation area. You would have exercise area. You have a place where astronauts will eat or socialize. You may have maybe a gaming area, or maybe an open area where maybe the eating area and the open area together, whatever. Or you may have different equipment set around like that. But it will not be sectioned off like the privacy deck. It'll be all open area. But you may have certain equipment in certain areas, but there will be no walls separating the privacy deck from like the privacy deck. Each astronaut would have his or her own quarters. And this would also apply to spacecraft with passengers. Each passenger would have his or her own privacy quarters. So on outer space tours and spacecraft design, you would have a deck that's devoted to the astronauts operating in spacecraft, and you have a deck devoted to your outer space tourists. So instead of three and with an outer space tourism deck. The mission deck would be outer space or the tourist activities, simulations. Maybe you have spaceflight simulations of the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo program and Soyuz programs in here for the tourists to engage in. The common area would be the kitchen, exercise room, and a gaming area, social interaction area. And then you have the crew. Then you have a crew privacy deck area, and then you have a passenger privacy deck area. Although within you may have a crew privacy area between here, and then you have your mission deck, and then your common deck, then your mission deck, and then your passenger deck, privacy deck. The privacy decks could also be double as quarantine areas for astronauts or passengers who are sick, and so they stay in their quarters until so you can do that. You may have another deck that is a total medical deck, which would be similar to the bioscience deck or mission exploration deck, but if you have privacy, you have a beds, maybe an area devoted to examination, physical examination, an area devoted to an astronaut passenger in being quarantined in a bed, maybe in an operation table area, and then medical storage area. There's a lot you can do with this basic layout. It's open to a variety of options of what you can do. So for example, Crawlspace interior. Okay, wait, what's the scale on that thing? 8. Okay, so what we can do, go to 190. So that you can have a Crawlspace. Okay, let's cube that. Okay. We need to call this a corridor. Hallway. Cylinder hallway. No. No. Cube hallway. There we go. You gotta tap the icon itself, which is a good thing. Cube hallway. So we don't lose anything. And then these are habitation cubes. Okay, how are we going to? Hab, mob, division, cubes. Rename that. Habitation module, division cubes. Rename that. Habitation module, division. I said space. Okay. Let's see here. Center cube hallway. Material. Color. Okay, yeah, let's do that. And then just transparent that. Let's say transparent. Okay. Okay. So those are some of the option designs for the how the astronauts and passengers can travel between the modules. Okay, let's get the show you that. Who else is missing? You're missing. Show that. Habitation module exterior. Material. Now, the issue on the materials here and not being able to do the color codes is that I am forced to use different colors. So instead of having the same color for each section has its own color. So you can see the different sections. If I was able to customize all the colors, sometimes you will not be able to distinguish the habitation module from the command module, or so there is, or the Crawlspace tunnel from, get out of there, Crawlspace tunnel from the habitation module, or the command module, or the decks, the different decks sections within the habitation module. Undo that. So yeah, they fixed some issues, and it's good. So oh, okay. So I'm going to leave it go at that. I'm going to make a, let's see here. And this is going to be my thumbnail.